Hello everyone, this is Nickredace coming with another video. I know last time it was supposed to be creating our basic unit and I totally forgot to do that. We just went over some keywords and a whole bunch of the script and code and then didn't actually make the unit. So this time we're going to be making a basic infantry unit. So the units we'll be working with today to understand those principles will be a tank, transport, and the actual infantry unit itself. Alright, so you want to start modding. This is where we're going to start. So you have to find where your Rusted Warfare is. So in this case, since I bought it from Steam, it's going to be my Steam library, Steam apps, Common, which is where all your games are going to be, and then Rusted Warfare. Once you get in here, you're going to see mods and assets. Mods might not be there, I'm not entirely sure. If it's not, you just create it and drop everything in. I'm pretty sure it's there though. So we have maps and units. Since we're making custom units, we're going to go to units. And we're going to go to this one, which is going to have all of our units that we're going to custom make. So we have these two, which we're going to be needing to display certain aspects of the code. And this is going to be the actual unit that I've already pre-made, but I'll be able to show you both in this and Rusted Warfare how it works. So this main file right here, the INI, is going to be where all the code actually goes into. So as I just told you guys in the last video, we have the name, which is just its unique identifier, the display text, what it's called in-game, display description, class, which never changes, but it has to be there, the price of the unit, max HP, the mass of the unit, and this is some of the code that we didn't go over, but it's easy to add on. Sound on attack order, sound on move order. You also have sound on actions as well. So sound on attack order means whenever you tell it to attack, it will play a sound bite, which in this case you've multiples. I'm not sure if they've created a way to randomize them yet, so it always goes in order. So I guess you could fake randomization by putting like this 2 or 3 more times and try and mix it up. That seemed a little bit too much for me to really care, since you're not really going to notice it. And the move on order is just on move. Of course, we have the tags, the all-important tags, infantry and small, where it's built from, Castern 2. Now, these are also based on the unique identifier. So it's the in-game name for this unit isn't Castern. And you might be like, well, what's the difference? Why is it Castern 2? That just means it's a tier 2 of that building. The tech level of the unit, the speed it takes to make that unit, available in demo. Now, available in demo means when you start up the game and it has like the battle in the background, will this unit appear in it? It's just not added in this one. You have the radius, our display radius. Is a bio true, which means when the unit's killed, it'll leave like a squish effect of multicolors on the ground. Number of bits on death 5. Since it's not robotic and it's bio, I don't think that it works. Self-regeneration, how much health it regenerates. And soft collision on all means that, yeah, just collision. I'm not sure where I was going with that one. So then we move on to graphics. Now for the graphics, the image scale, which is how much the unit itself is scaled down. So this unit in-game is going to be slightly smaller than the sprites are, because it's been pushed down by 0.1. Total frames, how many frames are in the unit graphic, which I'll show you in just a moment. Then we have the actual unit graphic, the dead unit graphic, the turn, which since there's no turn, so you can just leave it as none. And you can actually scale turns images as well. The shadow, which is auto. By the way, when this is here, that means that the game doesn't read it. So you can have this in whatever you want as long as you want, and the game itself will not read that part of the INI file. Animation, so when does it start? Now this, it says 0, but what it means is the first sprite, because it starts at 0 and then goes up, and ends at 2, sprite 2, so it's 3 sprites, and the moving speed between those sprites. Here's the moving ping pong, which is I showed you guys in the last video. Idle. There's no real idle here. I think it just kind of gives it like a bit of a breathing effect. Yeah. So it says 1 and then end at 1.3, so it makes the unit kind of move, look like the unit's breathing. It's kind of weird, but you'll see in game. Then we have the attack animations, which starts at 2, ends at 4, 3. Speed is 3. So that means that when the unit attacks, it'll cycle between the 3rd sprite, 4th sprite, 5th sprite, and you just keep on going back. Technically, it goes to idle in between that, depending on how long the delay is. So if you have a long enough delay, it'll do the attack animation, go to idle, attack animation, go to idle. Lock body with rotation, that's, since this is a sprite-based attack unit, it doesn't have a turret, this has to be set to true, or your unit will just shoot in a random direction and hit its target. We don't want that. So we go to attack, can't attack, true, can attack flying units, false, can attack land units, true, can attack underwater units, false. Self-explanatory, is fixed firing true, pretty much the same thing as lock body rotation with main turret. Turret size, these don't matter because the whole unit turns, the max range of the attack, and the delay between the attack. And I believe this goes by like 60 is a second, so this is half a second shoot delay. And can only attack units without tag stealth, so that means that this unit can attack every other unit except ones without stealth, which I believe is leftover code because there's an easier way to do it, which I'll show in a later video. Turret 1, I always leave this as a blank turret because this is the very center of the sprite. Everything else is modified off of that. So, to me at least, when I'm making a unit, every turn 1 is going to be completely blank. Can it shoot? No. Is main nano turn? Sure. This doesn't have any nano turn aspects, so it doesn't matter. The size doesn't matter because it's invisible, because we have no turn image. Then we go on to turn 2, which is offset 2y from turn 1. And it makes the gunfire sound. This is, of course, how loud the gunfire is. It doesn't do a shoot flame, and the reason it doesn't is because the actual action, the sprite, has its own sort of fire, so it's not really needed. And then a light effect from where it shoots. That's how I originally positioned this turn, is I looked at where in the sprite the unit's firing from, and I had to match it up as best I could. Then we have projectile 1. I don't really have to worry about setting a projectile for these turns either, because there's only one projectile. If I had multiple projectiles, then I would have, or multiple turns too, I'd have to set, alright, turn 2 uses projectile 3, etc, etc. So it does 7 damage, life speed's 50, speed 7, frame 5, draw size. So it kind of seems like this isn't an instantaneous shot, but it pretty much is. You won't see the bullet, because there's also no graphic for the bullet. It just pretty much happens almost instantaneous. Practically instantaneous. Movement, we have movement type land. Moves by land. The speed it moves, 0.9, which is decently fast. How fast it accelerates and decelerates. And joins group formations. Pretty much that means if you have like a bunch of them, they'll make a line formation. I'm not sure if there's a way of actually changing the types of formations, but for now it's going to be just a line. The turn speed, which in this it also affects how fast the unit turns to shoot at something. Since it's infantry, it's going to be pretty high. Turn acceleration, again, how fast it accelerates while turning, pretty high. Move sliding mode, move ignoring body. That one's not really needed because everything's based on the body. And move sliding mode means that it can move while turning its body. So it doesn't have to turn then move. So let's go see how this affects the unit in-game. So this is our infantry soldier. Yep, it has the right health, speed, attack. See, now those are the frames. Okay, now if you look right here, you can see the body slightly going in and out. That's the whole breathing effect given by idle. You have the basic movement, which is just this sprite. So it starts off at 0, 1, 2. And from these ones, it'll just repeat, and that's our walking cycle. For a shooting cycle, it's 2, 3, and 4. So that means it'll constantly reset between these 3. So it'll shoot, set, shoot, set. That's just the way it ended up. Might be changed in the future. Now, when it comes to transports, this unit only takes up 1 spot. To me, I feel like all infantry should only take up 1 spot. They're the smallest units, unless you have like an advanced infantry type. 1 slot. Now, this is a tank, so this tank will take up multiple spots. So you might be, alright, how does that affect everything? Well, we're going to get out of that, go to the Gemini tank, and right here it says transport slots needed, 4. So that means that this unit takes up 4 transport slots. Before this was incorporated, I was playing this before it was added as code, you can change. Transports, you couldn't really have a lot of units. They couldn't have a lot of slots in a transport, because then you could pack any unit into it. Back then, all you could have was, can this unit be transported? Yes, no. Now, with all the additional code, you can choose what units with certain tags can go in certain vehicles. So, for example, I can make it where this can only pick up medium units, light units, but not heavy units. And since it's a light transport, that makes sense. Of course, you saw right here, that's the is bio effect. You know, because all your soldiers, and it, watch, it changes. So if we get another one of our riflemen, that's not what I wanted to do. Just right here. See, it changes just randomly. Of course, if you want to be like a red blood, what you could do is just change your dead sprite to have blood, and just get rid of the bio. Bio doesn't actually affect much. And if you're thinking about, oh, what about tags? Well, the tags that shows that it's bio is infantry. Of course, you could make a bio tag if you wanted. And, there's no reason you can't. But that's just pretty much all bio does. Oh, but the reason they're dealing like no damage isn't because they're not dealing a lot of damage, but because this has 20 armor and they deal 7 damage. Which means technically instead of doing 7 damage, you're doing a single damage. Every half second, but has 450 health. So they'd have to stand there a while. Meanwhile, this thing does 60 damage. They have 50 health. It's instant killing them. And technically it has 2 guns. It is the flat cannon too. Which doesn't kill them in a single shot, but it's the high explosive one. That's AP. High explosive one, which in this case, when I'm switching it to that, now it's high explosive. That's why that exists. So that's how to make your basic unit, things you'll need. I'm going to go over in the next video how to make this Gemini tank, or how I made it, I should say, and go over other actions, such as actions. So this one also will have this converting ability from armor piercing to high explosive, and then stuff like having it scrapped to make another unit, which can give you back more credits, or cost credits. We'll go over that all in the next video. It'll be lots of fun. So, thank you all for watching. This has been Nickredace, and I'll see you all in the next video. Nickredace out.